Hello, Renee here from Scrappy Ray Paper Crafts with my final card in the terrific Toadstool series. I'm going to show you what I'm working with today. I have the terrific Toadstools stamp set and coordinating punch from the mini catalog. I'm using the Hope Your Day is a Happy One from the So Sincere stamp set in the annual catalog. My embellishment will be Sunny Day iridescent dots. And then I'm using the Toadstool Gardens Designer Series paper. Lots of options with this paper. The colors that I chose today are Granny Apple Green and Pumpkin Pie, but you could easily change it. Use the Melon Mambo with Granny Apple Green. You could use the Fresh Freesia. And then these designs, they're just fun. They do not have to be tied in with the Toadstool. They could be used on any stamp set, really. Sort of an ombre pattern. I love this smoky slate sort of wood grain texture that would lend itself to a masculine stamp. And then this one I used with the Linked Together stamp set. I'll show that in a future video. And then for today's card I pulled out these little caps. I think they're cute. And then I used this paper here. So to get started, I like to start by stamping all of my images. That reduces my chance of getting ink on my paper. And I went ahead and I stamped and fussy cut the stems. I'll go ahead and take my white scrap and I'm going to stamp the sentiment using the pumpkin pie. And if you missed the measurements at the beginning of the video, I will put them in the comments after the video. So I have my popping up to say hi. It's going to go there. I'm going to take a scrap piece of peach pie and I'm going to stamp it with my mushroom. I have trouble with the center sticking, so I'm going to use extra pressure in the center. Make sure that I get full coverage. There we go. And then I have one more to stamp large. Oops. Stamp that one on there. And then on the inside of the card, I'm going to start with my smoky slate so that my caps aren't floating in the air. Oop, my stamp came off. I'm going to do two sets of stems. I'm going to do one coming sort of out of the side here, and then again on the bottom, I'll do the same thing. I want it off of the paper a little bit so that it does not look like it's floating in the air. And then I like to add the same images to the front of my card. You could also turn it over and put it in the back center, but this small one I put it on the front. Then I'll close up my smoky slate since I'm finished with that one. And I'll come back to my pumpkin pie to add my mushroom caps. And on here there's this little slit for the center of the mushroom. You want that part to sit on top of the stem, like that. I'm going to do this one. And then this one. That is it for my pumpkin pie. And my last sentiment is going to be the Granny Apple Green. And it's my Hope Your Day is a Happy One. And if you do like I just did and push too hard on your ink pad, you'll end up with ink on the edge. Be careful not to rock your stamp, because if you do, then you'll end up with a halo. And you'll have to start over or use a sand eraser to get it off. There, I did not get a halo. Okay, all of my stamping is finished. I'll use the punch to punch out my two mushroom caps. And I cut a strip so that I could just focus on the stamps that I want. And then you'll notice most of our punches leave an edge around the cutout so that it resembles the fussy cuts. But in this case, they did not want extra, so it's actually going to be smaller than your image. Go ahead and punch that one. And yes, little pieces do go flying, but my two main pieces are right there. So now all we need to do is assemble our card. my tape runner. I'll start by adhering this DSP to the pumpkin pie. And I always have trouble getting my tape runner started. It's just me. If you remember to tilt your hand back as you pull up on the tape runner, then the tape should be ready on the next time that you use it. But I have a habit of going sideways instead of pulling back. I'm going to center this so that it's evenly spaced on all three sides, and then that'll put it where it needs to be on the top. Then I'm going to take my basic white and put it on the inside. See, I don't pull back, and then I don't have enough tape there to grab. We'll center this one. And then this piece is going to go on the inside. You could change it, do this way to pull the two, but I'm going to go with the green. Put this on. And then I'm going to fold on my score line and give it a good crease with my bone folder. Same on the other side. You want to give it a good firm crease because it's going to stand up, and we need those creases to help it stay in place. Then on the back side, I'm going to put my stripes. You could put the dots, but I like the stripes, so that's the fun part about the designer series paper. You can go with what works for you. I'll turn it this way, and then I'll center it there. And then my card is ready on this side. I just need to put my front on. I'm going to use dimensionals to adhere the mushrooms and the popping up to say hi. And there's a trick to the placement of the popping up to say hi so that it actually holds the card in place. But I'll show you that here in a minute. And then we're also going to use a little bit of the mono glue to attach the stems. I'm going to start by putting a dimensional on the back of my mushroom. I feel like I didn't pull out my large dimensional, so we're going to go with minis, but you really could use large and be fine. And then I'm going to pull out my take your pick with this handy weeding tool tip I shared the other day on how to keep those little scraps from flying all over your page. I'm going to put that down. And then on this one, I want to be careful. Oh, I want to slide that over more. I want to be careful where I put my dimensional so that I don't end up 2 layers high. So if I were to put a dimensional under here, it would be, if they were under here and under here, it would be too high. But I didn't put one here, so now I can put one there. And you'll see when you start creating your own, when you place your dimensionals, you'll see what I mean by if you stack the dimensionals, it's 2 layers high, which could be too thick to go through the postal meter. It's not supposed to be more than 1/4 inch thick. So then I'll put that there. And then I'm going to use glue to adhere my mushroom stems. Oh, I do that every time. You don't need a whole lot of glue. We'll spread that out, put it down, and we want, see my hand shakes really bad, sorry folks if that bothers you. You want this bigger stem on top, and then it's going to go into the center there. Then my little stem will tuck underneath the big gray stem, but still on top of the toadstool cap. So kind of lift that up a little bit, put it under there, and then the cap. See there? Then I'm going to adhere my popping up. And on this one, I do need to get my large dimensionals. So hold on just a minute while I get that. I really thought I had them out. Oh, I do. They're right here. Okay. So I'm going to take large dimensionals. I'm going to put them on the back of the popping up. I'm going to use 3 because I want it to be secure. Then I'm going to flip my card over, and what we want to happen is when we hold the card up that it stay like this. So in order to do that, I need to position my popping up, and if I were to put it here in the center, which is what our normal tendency is, it's too far up. So I need to go further back to hold it in place. And you may have to use your bone folder to give it more of a crease. Just depends on where you place this. So I'll put this in the middle here. And then hopefully I've creased it enough. I'm going to use my fingers just in case. And this should pop right up. Maybe. I have to crease this one too. Alright. See there? My last step is to add my embellishments. And as I said, I'm using the Sunny Days embellishments. I'm going to go with the pumpkin pie, but you could use the melon bombo, or you could even mix the two, but I'm just going to go with the pumpkin pie. I'm going to put one down here, one up here, and one there. And that's it for my card. I hope you enjoyed watching this episode. If you would like more card making ideas or crafting tips, please follow me on Facebook at Scrappy Ray Paper Crafts. Thank you.